When I was a kid, I came out as furry to my mom, and it did not go well. For context, a furry is a fan of cartoon animals. Ever since I was a kid, I realized I was into cartoon animals beyond what the average kid would be, but I didn't have words for it at first. And to whatever extent I did, the way people today use the word cringe, we just use the word gay. But I knew that wasn't right because I was interested in cartoon animals regardless of gender. And there was an extra layer on top of all this. I was interested in fat cartoon animals specifically. If you made a Venn diagram of furries and people who were into fat, I was in the middle of that overlap. I wasn't into real life conventionally attractive people like Cindy Crawford. I wasn't into conventionally attractive cartoon characters like Lara Croft. I wasn't even into fat cartoon humans like Kathy. I was into Garfield, but not this version. If you're wondering why, I don't know. All I know is that when I came out to my mom, I made some mistakes. First, I treated it as a secret and something negative. Second, I used obscure words and references and said what I was not. And third, I gave too much information. This happened during a sit-down at night when the TV was off, and I was clearly ashamed, and she followed my lead. I used the term anthropomorphic. I mentioned deviant art, which sounds bad, and I said I'm not a freak or a troublemaker, which sounds suspicious. And I focused on details. I got into my specific taste in furry characters, which was a lot for the first conversation. So maybe it's understandable that my mother reacted with, "You chose this because you're into dragons and Zelda and other fantasy stuff." And I was tempted to respond, "Actually, there's not that many dragons in Zelda, and most of them don't talk, so..." But instead of saying that, her words just weighed on my mind and made me feel even more ashamed than I already was. It took many years for me to realize that the only acceptance I need is my own. Frederick Douglass put it well. I prefer to be true to myself, even at the hazard of incurring the ridicule of others, rather than to be false and incur my own abhorrence. Back then, I definitely abhorred myself, but looking back, I just need to do the opposite of what I did. If you want to come out as a furry, treat it as casual and positive. Use understandable words and comparisons, and use broad strokes. Bring it up when it's germane. For instance, when talking about hobbies or weekend plans. Be chill about it, and focus on the things you like about the furry fandom. The art, the stories, the community. Use simple terms like cartoon animals, and compare being a furry to being a member of other fandoms, like Trekkies, Bronies, or people who go to Comic Cons or anime conventions, and use broad strokes. Right share. Don't over or undershare. For instance, omitting your specific taste in furry characters is probably a good idea. And when they respond, be patient with questions and comments. They probably mean well and are just being curious. And the same goes for false rumors. For instance, if they bring up the myth that furries use litter boxes, have a sense of humor and say, "We're just about art and community." Now it's your turn. Think about the times when you came out as a furry or something else. What went well and not well? Share your own tips in the comments. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more. And remember, don't judge yourself for something you did not choose.